This game may not be as old as ancient Egypt, but does it have relevance like the Great Pyramids do today?
Today we're going to be talking about Ra. We're going to be giving you our pros, our cons, and coming up at the end of the video, we're going to be talking to you why it's important to pick up your old board games.
A quick overview of the game Ra. This game is a bidding game where everyone has different numbers that they can bid with. And what you're going to try to do is grow your society to get the most amount of points. The fun part about it is that it's hard to know when people are going to play what numbers, and it's always this toss-up of what you're going to get.
I'd say it's a really big game of like chance, and it's really fun to try and guess what each of the players are doing. I think once you have played with those certain players a certain amount of times, you kind of know what they're going to go for.
True.
And you can better predict how you're going to take your next turn.
True. And to start off with all of this, with our pros, is the bidding aspect. I would say, obviously it's a bidding game, so it's a huge part of it, but it's a really big deal, and they did a really great job. The best part about it for me is that your numbers that you have to bid with are going to change depending on when you get stuff. Because there's always going to be a token left in the middle, and then when you buy that set of tiles, you receive that for the next round.
And so you can get like all these tokens this one turn, but the bidding token in the middle can be a number 1. And to ensure you get that, you bid a high number, but in return, the next round, you get a really low number.
Yeah, and I'm really bad at keeping track of this, so a lot of times I'll turn over my tiles to find out what I have for next round, and I will literally have like a 1, 3, and a 4, and I get screwed.
Because you can't win anything.
Because you can't win anything with those, and you're left with basically whatever's left, which kind of sucks. But I love that aspect of it. The other thing I love also is the little raw tiles that are inside the bag that basically push this tracker that basically trigger the
bidding phase.
The bidding phase and also the score phase.
That's true.
And it keeps a good pace, I feel like.
I really like that. I also like that you can invoke Ra. Anyone at any time can start the bidding. And I really like that, even though in the games we've played, we haven't really used it a ton, but when we have, it just spices it up just even more.
It's true.
I really like that aspect of the game.
It's true, and it helps like people like me with low bidding numbers that they can start the bid low so that there's not a lot of tiles and not a lot of people are going to go with it. So it helps try to keep a little bit of that balance, I feel like.
This game, one of the best things that it's done is balance. Every time I feel like the game is very balanced. I'm not going for certain tiles more than others. It just works.
It's awesome. But now there's always two sides to a coin, right? So what are some of your cons?
Okay, the con for me is not to be like that sustainable girly, but the pieces I think we have the deluxe edition. I don't know.
No, we don't have the deluxe edition. We just have
the new print.
The new print.
There are wood pieces that are legit like this thick.
Yeah,
like
the
raw
piece
token,
is like,
it's like massive, and I don't know. Other than the invoking Ra one, we never use that one.
Yeah, you know.
And so it's like, for me, it's just like there's all this excess wood that didn't need to be used. Like, I love that it is wood and it's not just like your regular cardboard game. I appreciate that. But the fact that the pieces are like
they're
thick
so big
is so ridiculous to me. And when it comes to closing the box and putting everything back into the box after you've played around, it can be pretty tricky and kind of difficult, and it always ends up kind of lopsided.
So if you know how to close this box of the new version, I want to see a step-by-step guide of how to do it.
If you have an insert.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But the bag makes it impossible.
It's true.
It's
that's my only problem really with it.
The other thing I have is the rule book. This is so nitpicky, but sometimes it's not laid out in a way that I can find rules that I have questions to.
That is true.
It's hard to find stuff.
I remember playing a couple rounds and thinking, oh, what about in this situation? And I say, Trevin, check the rule book, because I'm not going to be the one checking it. And so I tell him to go look, and he's like, I don't know. Yeah,
I can't. There's just certain specific scenarios that happen. You're like, okay, but what do you do? And it doesn't say.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, or maybe it does say and I just can't find it. But anyway, that's like my biggest con with it is the rule book. But on the other side of it all, I love this game. It is such a simple thing, and like I can look past the rulebook thing because there's Reddit, and I can just look it up on there and have people tell me what to do. But it's great.
Now for the question of the day, is this game still relevant? Does it still stand? And I would give it a big fat yes. Because it is really well balanced, like I said before. It is easy to pull out. It's easy to teach other people. It's very versatile, I guess you
Yes.
can say. I don't know if that's the right word.
It's true. Also, I think it's a great bidding game. If you're trying to go for like
True.
a collection that's really well balanced with like mechanisms being different, this does it really well. There's not a lot of games that do bidding super well because it's just kind of like a hard concept to do in
I
such a
would
short
say
amount of
this
time.
is the only game I can think of in our collection that does bidding like exceptionally.
Yeah, like really well. Like it is such a great bidding game. And it's really easy to teach, so it's almost like it's a
win-win?
gateway game. So you could teach it to new people.
It's true.
It's great. And I think it's like really important that like, because we talked about like Puerto Rico a couple months ago and about how like they did a reprint and how we bought it because of it. And we wanted to quickly talk about how like old games are still important and people don't talk about it on YouTube or don't talk about it like in board games community because it's always about what's new and what's coming out. But we've
that
been
has been like such a big discussion between us lately is how we have all these games that we still want to play and that we love them so much, but we feel like we have to be on top of the next thing because we want the new game.
right.
And so it's just been like an eye-opener to us of get your old games out and play them because that's what gets you into the hobby, you know? It's not always about, oh, what's the next new thing? It's these old board games are what has brought us into the hobby. And
It's
so I
true.
think just giving them the appreciation they deserve is really important.
Yeah, and like you're probably thinking to yourself, Trevin, Monique, what's an old game? 1 year old.
It's
If
true.
it's a year old, it's old in this community for whatever reason. And like, I've been at fault. I'm always like, no, we've got to play the new game. We've got to go get new games. We slow down. Go pick up Everdell off your shelf. When was the last time you built that tree? Go build a tree.
If you already have it built, good for you.
Yeah, if you already have it built, good for you. But go play the game. Like the other thing we were discussing is like Catan. Catan is talked about quite a bit, but why? It's an old game. Why are we still talking about it?
That was my biggest, like, I don't even know what to call it, like, aha moment is like, why is Catan the way it is when there's all these other games? Like, why can't we bring that feeling that's associated with that game across the board? Of, oh my gosh, I just played Calico again for the first time in a year and it's amazing. Or I just played, I don't know.
XYZ, insert game. But that's our hot take right now for today is go to your shelf and pick up the game that got you in the hobby. It's probably been a while. Go play it with your friends. Go play it by yourself if it's a solo game. Go do what you want. But afterwards, come back and leave down below the next 3 games that are old, a year old or more, and tell us what you're going to be playing. And we'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now what I'm going to be playing next. We're going to be playing probably Everdell again.
We have been on an Everdell kick.
And it's been awesome.
It's been so
sauce.
fun.
Then we're probably going to be playing...
I want to play Wingspan. It's been at least 6 months since we
Yeah.
played that game, and it was my number 1 for a long time.
It's true.
And now it's my number 2, but we haven't played it. I want to play that one.
It's true. Speaking of number 1, we're going to play probably Dead Reckoning.
Oh,
So good.
so good.
It is such a good game. But those are our 3 we're probably going to be playing next because we want to pick them up again because they're great games and we can't forget about them. And we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about our old games, so get ready and get excited because it's going to be awesome. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, stay a while. Can't wait to see you guys next time. See ya.
I was going to say something and then I forgot.
It's okay.